Hello, welcome to the first of many reviews. I'm going to do individual reviews, individual issue reviews. I still have my other shows, but this is sort of a new thing I'm going to do. And this is going to be my review of the very first issue of Matt Fraction's Punisher War Journal. Yes, I'm going to be reviewing this as well on my Comic Corner Classics, Non-Classics, but I'm just doing one issue for this one. And the issue I'm going to review is issue number 1, which is a Civil War tie-in, and the artwork in here is provided to us by Ariel Olivetti. Oops. Yeah. Also, I should also let you know why do I look like I'm in a different location than I have been since I've started these videos. I'm visiting my brother, so that's the reason why I had to change location. And as you can see, I'm not in my bedroom, I'm in a guest room. And I'm in Virginia. And if you hear any clicking in the background, that is my brother's cat. Her name is Nibs. Alright. Now, in this particular issue of Punisher War Journal, it opens up, and I shall let you know that this right here is the first appearance of Punisher at this point in time. First time in a year he's been seen. Despite the fact there's a Max comic publisher with him in it, but this is the first time in the 616 universe he's been seen. Not since the end of Volume 5, which lasted 37 issues. Excuse me. Sorry. Let me show you the cat that I'm talking about. This is her. This is Nibs. Cute little cat, isn't she? She's a calico. My sister-in-law wanted her to bring her so badly when they were living in South Carolina. And then they brought her up here with her. Okay. Alright. Now, this volume, I shall let you know, this volume of Punisher War Journal lasted only 26 issues. Now, you're probably thinking, though, it's second volume. When was the first volume published? It started publishing in the late, just after the main Punisher comic was being published, and it ended at the same time, around the same time that Punisher Volume 2 ended. And that one lasted 80 issues and had 2 annuals. This one had 26 issues and 1 annual. Okay? This comic opens up, and the artwork is really good in these issues. Opens up in a mosque, strange of all places. But at this mosque is a man named George Washington Bridge. Yes, they name a character after the actual bridge that's in New York City. And he is being and it's revealed it's stated plain out that George Washington Bridge, otherwise known as GW Bridge, there goes the cat again. Nebs, I'm busy. Please, I'm busy. Come back later. Okay? Is that J.W. Bridge, Matt Fraction reveals that J.W. Bridge, who was also a character who made his first appearance pages of the original X-Force series, published in the early 90s, started publishing in the 90s, he's a creation of Fame of the Seas of Rob Liefeld. He's not a known creation of Rob Liefeld, but he was created by Rob Liefeld, because Rob Liefeld did X-Force, so he made his first appearance in the very first issue. So he's associated with both Punisher and Cable, so it makes sense for Fraction to bring him in. Though the first time he met Punisher wasn't Punisher Volume 3. That was the first time they met. Now, he is being greeted by a man named Jasper Stillwell, which some of you might think, no, Jasper, why is his name so familiar? That's because he's in the Howling Camilla series, and he's a zombie. Because he's dead. As what happened to George Washington Bridge, when I get to what happens to him later on, you'll be surprised what happens to him. Basically, he's greeted by George Jasper, basically to find Frank Castle. Simple as that. And what is Frank Castle doing? Spying on a pervert who is awaiting trial, and he's probably, let's say, he's probably out on bail. The Punisher is sitting out of his van. He's got many vans. And he's like, I'm bored. And this is while the Civil War. Yes, the Marvel Civil War is in full effect at this point. Basically, this issue kind of takes place at not long after the events of issue 4 of Civil War, which was the big turning point of the series. He's just sitting there, keep an eye, and he's like, he thought he heard something. And then he's like, oh, dang! A big metal pole just came in. Who was metal pole belong to? Wilbur Day, the Stilt Man, the original Stilt Man. Now, you're probably thinking, though, Wilbur Day, Stilt Man, isn't he a Daredevil villain? What the heck is he doing in a Punisher comic? It's the Marvel Universe. Villains can show wherever they want. There's no rhyme or reason why they show up. Apparently, he's reformed, is what he says. And he wants to bring in this pervert into custody, even though he's already been in custody already. And Stiltman basically tries to play nice to the Punisher. And then the Punisher takes a freaking grenade launcher, I am not kidding, and fires a rocket at the guy's groin. Okay? And then here he is, falling off his own legs. And the Punisher just takes a gun out. I think it's a Glock. Comment down below to see what kind of a gun that is. I think it's a Glock. And he walks out to Wilbur Day. He says, he wanted to be partners. He says he's running. He says, I didn't. And then he shoots him in the head. It's stated he shot in the head, even though it's not really shown on panel, which I do praise the artist not doing this. But it's implied that he shot him in the head, and he's definitely dead. Wilbur Day, Stiltman, he's gone. There's no coming back to this. This comic came out 9 years ago, so he's been dead for a good amount of time. So, give or take of that. So basically, then Punisher, I got one bullet left, and he shoots the pervert too. And there's an article, I'm not sure, they don't say what paper this is, but, it's a Daily Bugle, obviously. And it's and J.W. Bridge is reading it, and he's like raiding one of his caches of weapons. And he's with some S.H.I.E.L.D. rookies. Yep. George Washington Bridge, a veteran S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, is babysitting S.H.I.E.L.D. rookies while he's looking for Frank Castle. So basically, he sees that Frank Castle has gone underground, and he sends these team rookies down. The Punisher does not kill them because they're government agents. They're good guys. So he just beats them up and knocks them all unconscious. And he takes one of their weapons. Actually, he takes two of them. He gets upset, and he just walks off, and the guy's basically like, this guy here is so beat up by the Punisher. He's speaking in gibberish, but it's plain as day. It says the Punisher punished him, and and George Washington Bridge is very reasonably upset the fact that Frank Castle has got his hands on two very high-tech and classified weaponry, which is something not unusual for Punisher to get his hands on classified weapons, and he orders them to use napalm, and he wants them to dump napalm and philazine in the tunnels. Now, napalm is perfectly legal to use for knockout gas, but the other one is illegal. And he knows. So the Punisher just goes off and just everybody's like, it's like some kind of protest. It's like maybe some kind of memorial for so it's like some nice six. And then the Punisher just kidnaps C-list Spider-Man villain, the Terrible Thinker. Okay, so you got two C-listers. First, a Daredevil villain, now a Spider-Man villain. Now, he does mention that he takes him hostage. He says near a hardware store in Neuroshaw, of all places. Those of you people who know from shit get to that reference. The fact Neuroshaw does exist in the Marvel Universe. And the reason why he goes after him is because the Terrible Thinker built. He's basically a weapons manufacturer, very low level one. Basically, he was hired by the Stiltman to make new weapons and upgrade his suit. Yes, and he's basically even though he's at the mercy of the Punisher, he begs the Punisher to kill him because he's got nothing left to live for, and that his son, who by the way is a guy who's a spy, Rick Marshall, I think his name is, and he also mentioned his son is also dead, is all his grandson as well. Well, not outright say it says his son. Apparently, they both died at some point. Now, it's later revealed later on, somewhere down the line, the page of She-Hulk, that he's actually alive and well, so don't worry about that. So, he gives them some info on Stuart Clarke, aka Rampage. Now, who is Rampage? Some of you probably asking your question. Who is he? He is a guy who he's one of like two original villains that fought the very short-lived group known as the Champions back in the 70s. Yes, a 70s villain. I am not kidding. And basically, there's some stark. Apparently, he escaped from the raft, even though Punisher was taken back there. So he tells him where he is. Punisher just stabs him in his spine, which he does survive this. He doesn't kill him. He just paralyzes him. He says that all just slid between your fourth and fifth vertebrae. Tinker with that for a while. And he is never seen again in the comic. And as far as I know, this is his only appearance he's ever made in Punisher War Journal. And also, this is the only time he's ever met the Punisher. So, yeah. And in case you're wondering what the guy looks like, here he is. Here's Rampage. Out of costume. Yeah, he never becomes Rampage in the series. Never. What happens to him at the end of the series is quite disturbing. And basically, he has these, he's hunting after these little mini Stark robots. Yeah, I have no idea why. And he's got a robot suit. Fine. So, they fight, Punisher shows up and the little Iron Man robots fighting for a bit, and then he's like, he says, wait, why are you dressed like the Punisher? And the Punisher says, because I am the Punisher, and I'm here to kill you. and then here's what Clarke says to that. What? For escaping from the raft? I survived the raft and I ain't going back. Besides, I thought you only went after killers since all the lawbreakers... Since when all lawbreakers are reason to deter. And he says basically about escaping, stuff like that. It says that he says he's able to have a number of psychopaths escape with upgrades, stuff like that. So basically, in a way, starting with this very issue, Stuart Clarke, aka Rampage, a 70s villain, has become the Punisher's new microchip, which he will remain for the rest of the series. Does he get a replacement? Yes. In the relaunch line, he does get a replacement. When I get up to it, I will tell you who it is. And of course, basically, he gets him some info. He says this crazy theory that maybe Tony Stark was one behind the breakout of the raft. In all honesty, the breakout was caused by Electro, but honestly, they never really have... Bendis has never outright stated exactly what caused the breakout in the first place. But, yeah. But I don't really believe that. And he sends him after Tony Stark, gives him some more info, and he gives him a tracker to track down some Stark weaponry. And then we cut later to George Washington Bridge, or I should call him JW Bridge, GW Bridge. He goes to the morgue on a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier named Pericles III. And he's basically... It's kind of like a typical scene you would see in a cop show. Just a body on a table. Well, it's just basically just Stilt Man. I mean, it apparently looks like that Stilt Man, over the years, has lost most of his organics in some way. Yeah, apparently Stillman has lost some of his organics. So apparently it looks like he's become a cyborg. I don't know, but he's dead. Mm-hmm. And he gets contacted that the terrible thing gets off the table. And you have this gorgeous panel done by the artist. This is such a gorgeous looking panel. I'm sure everybody will love to see this as a poster someday. And he goes after. He basically decides to hunt down for some villains, and he takes out like a mugger very easily. And then he goes to the sewers. And who does he run into? The Jester, Jack-o'-lantern, and frickin' Spider-Man. Well, it can't be a Punisher book without Spider-Man showing up. I guess it must be a prerequisite, basically. I guess it must be an editorial mandate that the Spider-Man himself has to show up at some point in a Punisher comic book. Yeah, it must be mandatory because there he is. And what does the Punisher do? He takes his gun, and first he kills the Jack-o'-lantern. I'm not going to show the image. You have to read the comic to see this. And then he takes his gun. Well, he shoots Jack-o'-lantern in the head. Boom. I'm not going to show the image, but I am going to show this. Well, I'm not going to show that either. It's a bit gruesome, but not that gruesome. Then after he kills the Jack-o'-lantern, he kills the Jester too. And then he takes Spider-Man. I'm surprised, and this is something this is something I call bullcrap on. Spider-Man does not recognize the Punisher at this point, even though he's been beat up, and the fact that he's known the Punisher for years. He met the Punisher in his debut appearance. The Punisher showed up in Amazing Spider-Man 2029, Spider-Man's own comic book, and he doesn't recognize him? So what did this Punisher do? He picks him up. But before we get to that, we cut away again to the Pericles, which apparently J.W. Richards like bureaucracy very much, so he just quits working for S.H.I.E.L.D. And then basically the issue ends with the Punisher taking Spider-Man to one of Captain America's safe houses, and that's basically it. That's how the issue ends, with Spider-Man on a slab saying, yeah, kind of like, I want to join you. So what do I think overall of this comic? I think that the issue 1 was a great start to the series and great writing and part of manufacturing, despite the small hiccup. Yes, in a minute. Despite the small hiccup in the book, this was still a well-written issue. And still gorgeous artwork on the part of Ariel Olivetti. Yes. This artist did a fantastic job on drawing the Punisher. And I give Punisher War Journal, Volume 2, Issue number 1, a 8 out of 10. Stay tuned for the next review, which will be stay tuned, it'll be more. And the next one for this particular series will be issue number 2. Until then, see you there. Bye.